All right, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another champion spotlight. However, today it's a special one. It is the starting five for all new players of Raid. What does that mean? It means that I don't care when you start, I don't care what you pull. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're free to play. It doesn't matter if you're pay to win. It does not matter what you do in this game. These five heroes, that's it. You just need these five to get you started on your journey in Raid, and you will be able to beat most content. If I had to guess, somewhere around stage 15 on dungeons, all of Brutal, and possibly even into Nightmare. And then they can get you through almost all of normal in Doom Tower. Almost. There's a few obvious heroes in there that you're going to need to beat those bosses, but these heroes will get you through all the waves and everything else. So, who are they and what do they do? Let's take a look at them all. So, the first one is going to be an obvious one, Kael. Now, he's the starting champion that I would pick every single time I play this game. I wouldn't pick any of the other ones. They're all good. I wouldn't say that they're bad, but I would pick Kael over all of them just because his skill set is much better. He has poisons for bosses, he has poisons for clan boss. He can give you a much better start to this game than all of the other starting champions. The other ones will be viable up to a point, but there's going to be a lot of things that they're going to fail on where Kael will definitely shine. All right, so with him, we want to make sure we have him in the Phantom Touch Blessing and we max all his skills. Masteries, we go into War Master, and then we take him down the support tree to get him some more accuracy and things like that. As far as artifacts, though, you definitely want him in Lifesteal, 100%, and then possibly a speed set like I have. It's not super necessary. You just need him to be the second slowest person out of your starting five. Next starting five, Spirit Host, a farmable champion from stage 4 in the campaign. Now, she's your attack up hero. You want to make sure that she is the second fastest on your team. All of her skills max. We do put her in the Phantom Touch Blessing. Masteries, we went also down to War Master, and we brought her down more of an HP kind of tree, get her some more healing, some turn meter, some extra skill stuff here, which actually she doesn't even really need. Increased speed for dead allies, very important for the arena, and we have her in an extend duration of any buff cast by her, which is great, because then she can do her attack up for longer. As far as artifacts, you're going to want to get her in a shield set as early as possible. Reason being is that her and Kael can get you through Brutal by themselves and 3-star the whole thing. Kael can do it by himself if you speed him to 6-star, get his masteries, and do all that. But if you don't do that, for the beginning, Spirit Host is a very good option as your secondary because she can heal herself and she can keep Kael doing way more damage, which will get you through some of the waves that are a little bit harder. All right, next one on the list of the starting five, the lovely Warmaiden. Now, her you're going to want to put in as much speed as possible. You want her to go third in speed on your team, and you can want to be at number 30 on your new tournament, as it just popped up. Speed is probably best. You can put her in attack gear, like for 2 pieces in the beginning. That's fine, but eventually you're going to want to probably get her in mostly speed. I do have her in attack set on the boot, and that's because of speed tuning. And we want to make sure that she's not faster than my speed booster and my attack up hero. So that's where she's at. Skills, once again, max, and also Phantom Touch. Pretty much you're going to start to see a pattern here of which blessings we use on all these heroes. Masteries, same thing, all the way down to War Master, and then we have all the accuracy stuff in here and chances to decrease cooldowns, and she has a chance to extend her debuffs because she does defense down. That's the next one. The fourth hero is Valerie. Also farmable in stage 1. I forgot to mention Warmaiden is farmable in stage 9. Valerie stage 1. Essentially, you want to get her in a shield set as well as soon as possible, but HP is good enough to get you through the beginning. Once you start getting some shield sets, I would put it on her second because she can create her own shields. So having the shield set on Spirit Host is a little more important in the beginning. As you progress through the dungeons, though, you're definitely going to want to put Valerie in a shield set also, which also makes it so that her and Spirit Host have a combined shield set, which makes you have a ton of shield when you're doing waves, which makes you less likely to die. Skills, once again, we have her maxed, Phantom Touch Blessing. Masteries, we will be going down the War Master side as well. You could put her in defense, but I want her to do a little bit more damage. It's just my personal preference. You can make her counterattack and do a couple of other things in here. You can increase her shields and heals and stuff like that. So it might be worthwhile to go defense. But I did do all the healing stuff, like more HP and shields and heals and stuff like that. We've got reducing cooldowns on the support tree. That's Valerie. The final one of our starting five, also farmable from stage 12, 3. All right, this is Diabolist. You're going to want to put her in speed, complete speed, all speed right in the beginning of the game. Nothing else matters on her but speed. You can do defense, you can do resist and accuracy. All of these things are fine, but the only thing that matters on her is speed. All right, she is the fastest person on your team. Skills, we have her max. We do have a blessing. If I were to choose a blessing for her, I don't know what I would pick. I don't think I would pick Phantom Touch for her. I would probably pick Carapace or the other one. I forgot what it's called. Um, let's see if it's in here. Let's look. Not this one, not this one. Not this one. Here we go. Faultless Defense would be good for her, or I would pick Carapace because these are both defensive or HP, and they stop the amount of damage she takes. So those are the ones I would pick. Masteries. We just did a video on her, but I'll explain it again. We do defense and support on her, mainly because we want her to be able to counterattack. We want her to be able to get off extra stuns and things like that. Once we get her into a stun set later on in the game, in the beginning of the game, you would be able to consider going down to War Master. It wouldn't be the worst decision, but just know that later on, if we get her in a stun set, she may be a better hero. So this is a good build for Arena and keeping her alive, and it also gives her accuracy to get her stuns off if you put her in a stun set. So those are the starting five. All of them are farmable. Now, in case you're new to the game, let's go in here. Campaign. Boom. See? Anytime you run any of these dungeons, you have a chance to get Valerie in stage 1. Stage 4, Durham Forest. Anytime you fight anywhere in this area, you have a chance to get Spirit Host to drop. Free hero. Next one, stage 9, Deadlands. Anytime you farm in here, you have a chance to get Warmaiden. And then the final hero, stage 12, you have a chance of getting the beautiful Diabolist every time you farm the stage. Now, what does this mean for you and why do you want these 5? Well, I'll tell you why you want these 5. In the beginning of the game, you're going to get Kael and you're going to get a ton of free rare books. So you can max his skills literally in the first 2 days, probably, maybe even 3. So you'll get him maxed out pretty quickly. All right. That's the first reason. Second reason is because, I dropped it. All the other heroes, all of them. So Spirit Host, Warmaiden, Valerie, and Diabolist. All of them are farmable. So what does that mean for you? It means that every time you get a copy of one of these heroes, you can use them as a skill book to max their level in skills. So that means that all 5 of these heroes, if you farm just these levels for the first few weeks, you can max all of them in skills within the first, I would say, reasonably timed, somewhere around a month, maybe a month and a half. It's possible if you only farm them. It can be a little rough. I used books in the beginning on Spirit Host, and I used a little bit of books on Valerie because I only had a couple of copies of her because it's a really hard area to farm because it's just there's low EXP, there's not a lot of silver, so it feels like a waste. So I stopped doing it and I just used books to max her. I did farm Warmaiden right in the beginning. As soon as I got to that stage, I leveled all my heroes up and my campaign food to get Warmaiden skills. So her, I completely farmed. Diabolist, I would never put a book into her. I would only use the ones that you farm because 12-3 is literally the best place to farm for EXP to level food, and you're going to get her to drop. I've had so many copies of her here. Just to give you an idea, I have 2 of her right now, extras, because I've been farming that to get EXP to get her to 60. So I've already got 2 more heroes of her from just farming today. So yes, you're going to get her to drop. She's going to be the easiest one to max. I actually had her maxed in my vault for a while. So this is why these heroes are so good. Now, what makes this team work so well for a new player? Well, here's why it works. Essentially, when you build your team, and I've gone through this in many of my other videos, but we're going to do it in this video too. You want to make sure your team is speed tuned, all right? Diabolist is your speed tuner. What that means is she's the one that's going to boost your turn meter. See? Fills turn meter of all allies and decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. She's the one that is going to come in and immediately get her turn and fill the turn meter of all your heroes so that they always go first. This is why a turn meter specialist is very important. So using her is great for this. So her speed needs to be the fastest. We have her at 229 speed. That's the highest actually on my account right now. Then the next person on your team is Spirit Host. You want her to be the second fastest. She's 209. I literally just got her to 229. We could definitely add a couple of points of speed to her now. This is basically how she's been. I haven't built her up in speed, but you could get her a little bit higher. But 209, she's the next one in line because she does attack up. See? Places an increased attack buff on all allies. So now your heroes get a speed turn, so you can go first. Then Spirit Host comes in, increases your attack by 50%. And then you've got Warmaiden, which comes in. Here we go. And she will attack all enemies and drop the defense by 60%. All right. So now these heroes that you're hitting are going to be getting hit by high attack and they're going to have low defense. She should be the third highest speed because she has an attack. Like her actual AoE attack that does that is an actual attack. So you don't want her to go before Spirit Host so she can do more damage. Her speed in this current setup is 190. All right. And remember, these can go higher. As long as you're not higher than the one before, you're fine. And then you come in with Kael. He comes in and has a nuke, which hits all enemies. And now he's going to have attack up. The enemies are going to have defense down. You're going to be sped up. And then you just basically wipe the whole team. This is why you want it to be set up this way. And then his speed right now is still somewhat low. We're at 180 for where I'm at. In the beginning, obviously, it doesn't matter what your speed is as long as they're in the order that I just showed you. It doesn't matter. If your speed lead is like 120 or 150 speed, just make sure everyone else is in order from that 150. And then there's Valerie. Now, Valerie is a kind of mixed bag. It depends on what you want to do. Right now, I honestly haven't focused on her. Her speed is 191, so she is above two of the heroes, which means in the runs, it's not going to hurt you or help you, to be honest. She goes first, and it increases the length of your debuffs, see? So she'll come in and increase the duration of all your buffs, and she'll lower any debuffs on you. I would say it's probably best she goes possibly last. It's not the end of the world if she goes first. Some situations it's better if she goes first. Some she goes last. It really doesn't matter. As long as she gets this up after everybody else, like the attack up and defense down, it doesn't matter. So she just shouldn't be faster than the first two is really what you want. After that, you can do whatever you want. And she does shielding and healing, which is very good to have a secondary healer, which is very nice. Spirit Host will keep herself alive. Say she heals herself, so she can keep herself alive. Kael can heal himself because he has lifesteal. And then Warmaiden is just there. Hopefully she doesn't die. If she does, Valerie will come in and kind of pick her back up. All right. So these are the starting 5 heroes and the ones you want to use. Now, why would I tell you to build them? Well, here's why. So we go into the arena. This is the first place we go. We're going to refresh, see if we get a battle. Well, I mean, is there one that we can beat? These are all arbiters. I'm in stage, I say this every time, I'm in 4 gold. So on my way to 5. So there's definitely going to be teams here I can't beat with these heroes because my team isn't fast. I don't use this team for my current area, but I do use them to get here. I did use them to get here is what I'm saying. So we are going to use this team. You're going to want to put Spirit Host in the lead because she has a speed buff, you see? Increases speed in all battles by 10%. The other 3, it doesn't matter what order, just put those 3 in here, and now you've got a team. I'm going to do this not on auto because there's only one hero, so the AI will switch if there's only one hero, just so I can show you what you do. She's pretty beefy. She's 48,000 power, so this is actually a pretty good idea of what you're going to be up against. So you want to fill the turn meter. So here we go. Fill turn meter. Boom. And it decreases the hero in front of you's turn meter. So now she has less turn meter and your team is maxed. So now you come in with your attack up. And now you've got her coming in with her defense down. See? Defense down. Yeah, you'll get a counterattack. And then he comes in. We're going to use this attack because the AoE doesn't matter. You know what? We'll use the AoE just so you can see. We'll see if it works. There you go. So she's got a lot of HP because she's a healer, as you can see. So now we can just auto it, and I'll just let it go. Normally, I would have used the 4-hitter because that would have killed her, but I just did it so you can see how much damage it can do. Luckily for us, she's insanely strong, but she's still dead. All right. And this is a team, this is a hero that probably would have killed most teams if you're fighting her in like bronze and silver. This hero, literally by herself, Manaya, would have killed your whole team probably. So either way, it works. This is something that everyone should be doing in the arena, and leave it in there, and that'll get you at least up into gold. I was using this team, except I was using Apothecary, but Diabolist works just as well from what you can see. Oh, look at this. Let's fight this team. Let's see how it goes. They have level 38s. I want to see what the trick here is. I always like to fight teams like this because usually when you see this, it's a situation where it's a trick. See? So now we'll get our turn meter up, our attack up. I'm on auto now, so defense down and dead. See? And that's how it usually goes. And now you guys got to see me get to stage to, what is this, 5? Gold 5 with this team. Isn't that nice? So you can win with this team. Let's get out of here. Granted, that was a weak team. Oh, look, another weak team. We're going to go in. We're going in while we're on this video because I want you guys to see that people do put up fun fights for you to do in gold. And you can still get wins. And if you don't need defense down, then she just plops them. So here you go. Viable heroes that are farmable literally in the first week of the game. And you can use them in Arena 5 gold. Next reason we use these heroes. Eventually, you'll get to Doom Tower. You go in here. This is a tough fight. So we're going to do this. We're going to take, where'd she go? Was it Valerie, right? Valerie's already in there. We want Warmaiden. Let's see how they do in here. I believe they do well. I haven't actually done this with this specific team. I don't think. Actually, I had to have because we beat this without getting Syl. So I would assume that this team should be able to get through this without dying. We'll find out. I've said that about this fight at least 4 or 5 times in different videos today. So I think I underestimate the power of my own team. But that's a good way to live because then you always want to make them stronger. But so far, as you can see, they're holding their own. They've got their shields, they've got their debuffs, you've got your speed ups, and you've got Kael for attack, and you've got Warmaiden to drop defense. But this is a dream team. Like, they literally will more than likely take out, unless they get one shot from stuff like that, they will take out most problems that you have. It's like, oh, look, you have a problem over there. Well, guess what? You don't have a problem anymore. And this is why having Diabolist and a stun set would be good, because then you get some stuns off, and you don't have to worry about getting your butt handed to you. Now, normally I would use... What the heck was her name? Elhain, Dark Elhain in here, because she has a freeze debuff that she can use to hit these things and kill them a little bit quicker. But as you can see, Valerie can bring you back up from that and get you through the fight. See? And then you get to the next round, and all those shields pop right back up. So that's why we don't die, is because we have a shield buffer with Spirit Host and Valerie. They are doing well. And the removing of debuffs is definitely something that Spirit Host is really good at, because that's her main thing at this point. Now, as you can see, some heroes will start to die. It does happen, because remember, you're in literally the last fight of Doom Tower. So heroes are going to die, and you're going to want to hope that the last few remaining heroes are strong enough to not lose. This could be a rough hit, but usually what happens is that. And then he comes in, does that. We get some more attack. Hopefully they can survive. There we go. One more dead. Every time someone dies, it's a good thing. Fear is not good because now we don't get the heal. Let's hope for the best. Will he get an attack in? Yes, he will. So he healed up a little bit. And now our shield's back up. As you can see, Kael's kind of a beast in lifesteal, and this is why it's so important that you put him in lifesteal, because he can heal himself back up while somebody else is feared, and no reward because we already beat it, and we won. So I don't currently use this team for my final Doom Tower runs because they're not as effective. As you can see, it's not really that much of a difference. It was, my best turn was 70, this was 77, and that's with a bunch of heroes dying. Now, that was a one-off. Sometimes heroes die, sometimes they don't. You may have to run some fights a couple times because there's weird ones with like counterattacks and unkillables and things like that that you want to try to avoid. So you are going to mix and match heroes here and there, but this team, as a core team, will get you through these fights. All right. So that's Doom Tower. Now, technically speaking, I don't have to show you anything else because you're going to beat all the dungeons that I'm going to show you way before you probably beat stage 119 of Doom Tower starting this game. All right. Why do we build these guys? Why do we build them? Campaign. We're on Brutal. All right. We're going to go in here. Brutal, right? We're on Brutal. This is a fight that everyone hates. Now, mine are a little bit stronger than yours will be, but I just want to kind of show you. This is how I ran pretty much all of campaign in the beginning because I did not max out Kael to 60 before I got to Brutal. I actually got here quicker. Um, so I used Spirit Host to get me through it. But as you can see, these two, this is a hard fight when you first get here, which is why I'm showing you these two specifically with the lifesteal. And if you have her in the shield set, which you get from the quests, I think you have to beat Fire Knight to get it, and then you get the first shield set. So having her in the shield set and then having him in lifesteal, you could pretty much beat everything. And then on top of that, if you're crazy like me and you have been following my channel, I did this the other day. You can go in here and we can take her out. We can take her out and we can just put him in. Start. Kael is basically built as your nuker. He can also be your campaign farmer. So if you want to come in here and level heroes for food, you bring Kael in the beginning and you just run these dungeons. You're going to run 12-3. This is the boss, just so you can kind of see both the campaign farming aspect and the fact that he can beat the bosses too. There you go. Kills these guys usually. Doesn't have a problem with it. Counterattacks all the time. Let's see if he gets his AoE off. Nope, he did the other one. So there we go. And then goodbye. See? One hero. And this is the point of having a campaign farmer, is right here. You want to have Kael be extremely strong in lifesteal so he can keep himself alive and build him as a campaign farmer. You could probably look at my champion spotlight on him if you want. That actually has more of the breakdowns. I did a basic look on him in this video, but I already did them all separately. So if you want to know more about each hero and what they're good for specifically, then you can go watch those videos. But this is what Kael's main bread and butter is making sure you have a campaign farmer early on that can beat fights. Like, look at this. This was 16 seconds, and that was the boss fight. But what you would be doing is going into stage 3 and doing stage 12-3 all day until you have everything done and get all your heroes leveled. This will get you silver. This will get you more of Diabolist. This will get you a lot of things farming this, but you need to have a hero that can do it by themselves. If they can't do it by themselves, then you can't bring in level 1 garbage food heroes to level them up. You're going to have trouble. In the beginning, I did have certain times where I would level up like another hero that I'm kind of building. Like say I got Warmaiden to level 50, I'm into 5-star. I would bring her in as my secondary to make sure that I won the fights in the beginning when I was still like new and having trouble beating this as a campaign farmer. So I would always have one other hero that I'm building with me so that I'm still leveling all my heroes, but I'm not weak and having trouble. So don't think that this is going to happen overnight. There are going to be times where you're going to use Kael with like Warmaiden or Spirit Host to farm, but just make sure you're always leveling someone. Don't just bring in a hero that's maxed unless you really have to. All right, so that's where they're good on that. Let's go into, you saw them in Arena. We saw them in Doom Tower. Clan Boss. Let's go into Clan Boss. All right, so as you can see, we did 28.86 million here on Nightmare. So we're going to go into Brutal. No, we're going to do Nightmare. We'll see what they can do in Nightmare. I don't really know. I didn't use them in Nightmare because they weren't as effective. I essentially do between 13 and 17 million with the current team that you see here, all rares. And as you can see, Valerie and Apothecary are in here. Well, Apothecary is not one of the starting 5 anymore, but Valerie is in my Clan Boss team right now. So we're going to go into Nightmare. We're going to battle, and we're going to take all these guys out. and we're going to put in the beginning team. So here we go. Spirit Host, Warmaiden, you, and you. What can this team accomplish? Well, let's find out. I honestly don't know. I've only done this with Apothecary because I pulled him early, and Apothecary is a replacement for Diabolist if you want. It's not 100% necessary if you watch my Diabolist video that came out on Friday, but Apothecary was the one that I used because I pulled him so early it didn't matter. But yeah, this team is good for anything. You can use them in clan boss as well. Are they going to do as much damage as most teams? No, but they're going to get you started. That's the whole point of this team. They're called the starting five because that is exactly what they are. They are the starting five that will get you through all the content you need to get through, but they're also useful later on. I use every single one of these heroes somewhere in the game as of right now, and we are what now 7 months into the game, and have Arbiter, and we're doing Doom Tower. You know, it's like these heroes are still useful to me. I just use them in more specific spots now and rebuild them a little bit to match whatever I'm using them for. So they're more general heroes. They're good for all content, and then you have heroes that are specific for actual content. These are general heroes. So if you need a team to get you through everything, this is the one. So like I said, this is Nightmare with the starting five as I currently have them built. Now, the reason this team works is because you have an attack up, you have a speed up, you have a defense down, you have shields, you have heals, you have a poisoner in Kael, which poison is probably the most effective way of doing damage on the clan boss in early game, which is why Kael is so important, because beating clan boss is super important. You're going to get a ton of stuff. You get shards, you get books, you get potions, all kinds of stuff. So it's important that you start doing clan boss early, and Kael is the man for that. Then on top of that, you've got a poison on Warmaiden. It's not a good poison. It's not even close to the best poison, but she has defense down and she has that small poison. So you can get a little bit of that extra poison in there. And then you have not Apothecary, Spirit Host, who can come in and, like you just saw, she removes all the debuffs. So in case you get a bunch of stuns and poisons, she can get rid of those. But this is why it's so important to max their skills early on. And I will personally tell you that maxing these first five heroes, buying the masteries for Kael, buying the masteries for Warmaiden, buying the masteries for Spirit Host, and buying the masteries for Diabolist would be my first priority of any game. I wouldn't buy any shards. I wouldn't buy anything. I would literally just buy the masteries for them. And then once you have those four, you can farm Valerie's because you'll easily be able to beat 15 in Minotaur and you'll be set. Which actually we will show. Now, as you can see, they're doing a lot worse than my current team that does about 13 to 17 million on Nightmare. That's because I didn't use this team for Nightmare anymore. Eventually, they will fall off, all right? But as you can see, they're doing about what? Look at this, 6 million damage on Clan Boss. I'll show you how relevant that is in a second when I die. All right, so they did 7 million damage on Nightmare. All right, let's go look. Easy. You only need to do 1.14 million. Normal. You only need to do 3.638 million. Hard. You need to do 11 million. So this team can possibly one key this because the boss gets easier on the lower levels. So they might be able to last longer because they're going to take less damage. So they might be able to one key this, but otherwise you can two key hard with this team. Brutal. That one is a little harder, but we did 7 million on Nightmare. So that means we can three key this probably fairly easily. All right. So you can three key Brutal with this team, possibly two key. All right. That's why they're so good. You want to, this is the team to get you through the early stages of the clan boss. All right. There you go. Starting five in the clan boss. Now, next thing, dungeons. Let's go look. Minotaur. The starting five will go in here and you will pick whichever team you want. This is the team that I'm picking as of right now. We're going to go in and whoop some butt. Start. So We have the starting 4 in here except for Valerie because we want to kind of beat this faster. Essentially, we don't want Valerie has less attack up than Spirit Host. So I bring Spirit Host in here. You can mix and match depending on the strength of your team. If you want to bring Valerie instead of Spirit Host, it works just the same. There's no difference outside of the 50% increase in damage on Spirit Host versus the 25% increase in damage on Valerie. And then you bring in your extra hero, which is right here. I have Lord Legionary as my 5th because we're going to be farming his scrolls to get his masteries built up. He is the next one in line. And these 4 will get you through the dungeon so that you can literally bring any other hero in here and they will always get the scroll because you bought all the masteries for these 4, which is why I said to buy the masteries for these 4. Because once you have these 4, you don't have to buy anymore unless you are just lazy like me. I bought, I think, 2 more with 800 gems after that over the last 7 months. 2 or 3 maybe, I forgot. I know I did Jizzo. I know I did Drexstar. And I feel like there was at least 1 more. So I think I did at least 3 or 4 more other heroes that I purchased. Every other one, though, I farmed. So and I have 24 heroes, 25 now, 60. So we did the rest of them by farming them. Not a bad deal, right? Basically, 2/3 of my heroes were farmed. And I don't have to buy them anymore. Literally, the only reason to buy them at this point is if you get someone that you're really excited about and you just want to get them done and you have a bunch of gems kind of lying around, which I kind of do right now. Not a lot. I have 2,700 right now. Sorry, 25, because I blew through about 400 gems just to do this video to get Diabolist to 60, which I do for the love. I do it for the love. But there you go. See, he gets his scrolls because they're all maxed. Boom. Problem solved. They also beat every other dungeon in here. Now, Dragon's Lair is easy. We're going to show you, I'm going to use these on stage 15 only because my stage 20 teams, those fights take really long. And the whole point of this is to get you through the start. And stage 15 is kind of it's like kind of where teams start to kind of get more specified on what you need. So I don't really want to go too far past that. I believe that you have to auto 15 as a mission. So we're going to have to waste more gems for you guys. Let's go into Dragon. Get this guy out of here. All right, so where is my other girl, Warmaiden? Here we go. So this is stage 15, Dragon. Let's go in here. Now, I'm not going to run every single dungeon because you're going to kind of see the same thing, especially since my team is fairly overpowered for these dungeons. I think Spider 15 is where things get weird. So for Spider, I think we're going to try it on 14 because after 14 is when Spider becomes a nuisance. And if you're not prepared for it, you're going to have trouble. And this team isn't set up to make Spider easy. They're just a team that can get through it in a slow fashion. Because Spider requires more of a tank and it requires more turn meter reduction and some other things to get through it once you get past 14. And it's a really crazy switch, to be honest. Like, you don't expect it if you're new to the game. You're like, why can't I beat this? And it's actually kind of frustrating. This is the only downside is there's no one that can remove debuffs. So you're going to have little bastards like that. They're not going to kill you. They're just going to make the fight longer and annoy you. See? So now you've got your Warmaiden doing some smackdown. You've got Kael doing some more smackdown. And you've got speed ups. You got no debuffs getting hit on you. Getting things removed. Dropping defenses. Poisoning this bastard. And getting him to die. Because that's the name of the game, right? We just want dragons to die. And goblins. And fire knights. And spiders. All of them. We just want them to die. That's what this game is about. Making sure things die. And you, my friends, are the judge, jury, and executioner. As you can see, they are making pretty short work of this. So don't think that these are not viable anywhere in the game. Like I said, I showed you Doom Tower first, so you can see immediately that they are viable, because these dungeons are a joke compared to that. All right, Ice Golem. Once again, we're going to go to 15 just to show. Get Apothecary out of there. Get you out of there. We're going to get Valerie. Where are you? Valerie. And then who am I missing? Spirit Host. We got you. We got you. We got you. We are missing Warmaiden. No, we don't. Here we go. Diabolist. Sorry, I just got her, so I forgot. There we go. I literally just got her to 60 because I've been using Apothecary. So you can forgive me on that. And if you don't forgive me, write a comment about how much you don't forgive me, and I'll respond telling you that you're right. So Ice Golem in the earlier game is a little bit more difficult at 15. You will have some deaths. I don't foresee a problem with this team as of right now, the way they're currently built, just because we've advanced beyond this. And I use most of these heroes in stage 20 outside of like a mix mash of Warmaiden, because she just, sometimes I'll use her, sometimes I won't. I think my fastest team had her on it, but it was really wonky because she dies quickly because I don't have her defensively built. But either way, this team will more than likely smash this and have zero problems with it. Those shields always look really nice every wave. It's like that little layer of protection. Always use protection when fighting the Ice Golem. Now, the only reason this fight is hard is because you can't really manipulate the turn meter on this guy. He's always going to hit you with that attack whenever his HP hits a certain point. So you can't really manipulate the fight to go your way until he's at 1/4 of turn meter. I mean, 1/4 of health, because at that point he doesn't do that attack anymore, and it doesn't. Then you could just turn meter reduction him to your heart's content. But there's really no reason to do it because you'd rather be more defensive, so you can block that attack that will basically freeze your whole team, and then he'll whap you and you're dead. So this is a pretty good team to get through these fights. The only downside here is that healing is a little bit low on Valerie's end. She's more of a shielder. She can keep you alive, as you can see, long enough, but this is why we bring heroes in that can heal. So you could conceivably put a regen set on Diabolist if you're having trouble keeping her alive, and just make it more defensive, but just make sure that she has a ton of speed on that set and it will still work. If you're still using speed boots and you have all 5 pieces with speed on it, regen would probably be what I would recommend for her, because she doesn't do enough damage for lifesteal to really matter. There you go. Stage 15, Ice Golem's Peak, dead. All right, now we're not going to do Fire Knight. I think we used basically the same team. I did a whole series on Fire Knight that's coming out tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. When this video shows, it'll actually be 5 days ago. So I did do a video on Fire Knight from 1 to 15. I mean, from 1 to 20. So if you're interested in Fire Knight, you can go watch that. But this team will get you through Fire Knight. You're just going to have to do little adjustments to the team and add certain heroes, because you need specific heroes that do 3 hitters in Fire Knight. But you're going to use the bits and pieces of this team that I am using all the way up to 20, just so you know. So the heroes in here are usable. I just don't. Here, let's just show you the fights. I'll just show you the teams. I'm not going to do the fights. So team setup. Now I just went through and switched Diabolist. So here we go. Spider 20. We are using. Who are we using in here? This is a weird team. But we did do this yesterday with Diabolist, and it worked just fine. So you can use Diabolist and Spider 20. If you have Apothecary, just use him. But like I said, Diabolist works here. For Dragon 20, we use same heroes. You can use Diabolist here. We actually ran it also on the Diabolist video, and it works just fine. Here, you can run Ice Golem, same thing. You've got Spirit Host. You can use Diabolist here if you want. It works just fine. Fire Knight, same thing. We just ran it with Diabolist. As you can see, she's in here. Normally, I put Apothecary in here, but she's usable in here. And yeah, they're usable in almost all the dungeons, kind of a mix mash of all of them. Mostly Valerie, Diabolist, and Spirit Host, and sometimes Kael. but these will all get you through stage 15. Spider's Den, we're going to run 14 just to kind of see it, because this is a section that most people have trouble with. And I want to see if it actually works. I'm pretty sure I did this on 14 with the same team. It just takes a while because they don't have turn meter reduction, so he heals back a lot. It's a little annoying. And Diabolist. There we go. Let's see. I don't foresee them not winning. I just know it takes a little bit of time, which is why I was a little bit against it. But you know what? The whole point of this video is so that you can see what they can do. So why don't we just show what they can do? So basically for Fire Knight, in the beginning, up until 15, what I would probably recommend doing, mainly because Warmaiden is a little bit squishy, is I would find a hero that has a 3-hitter on their A1, someone like Crimson Slayer, someone like Coffin Smasher, someone like Aethel, any hero that has a 3 or 4-hitter on their A1. I would replace them for Fire Knight and take Warmaiden out, because the rest of the team is basically support outside of Kael, and you'll be able to whoop Fire Knight's ass all the way up until you hit 15. Now, I'm hoping right now they just have enough oomph to just keep killing spiders. Now, if you threw in an Armiger in this fight, instead of, say, Warmaiden, then you would probably have a much easier time doing this, just because he'll manipulate the turn meter. But this is the beginning. We're talking about the beginning of the game. This isn't, oh my god, we're beating stage 20. This is more about the start of the game. But I just want you to see the high levels that you can get to with the starting team, irregardless of what you do. This isn't the oh my god, these heroes are the best in the world. It means that they're just good at what they do. They're solid heroes. These are the most solid rares that you can get to start this game with. I honestly would say there are none better that you could start this game with outside of these 5. And the reason for that is because they don't require books except for Kael. That's why I'm saying that. They're easy to build. You can get them. All you got to do is farm them, and they're yours. And you have to pick Kael. You don't have to. You could pick Golem. You could pick Aethel. You could pick Elhain. That's up to you. Just know that out of all 4, Kael's the one you will have the least issues with clearing content, clearing missions, and clearing bosses. So as you can see, they are doing it pretty well. When I first got here, they were a little bit weaker, so they still did it. The only downside is, like I said, they would not be able to do enough damage, and the HP would skyrocket again. So the fight would just take, like, I don't know. I think usually around 6 to 8 minutes to beat this on 14. It was really annoying. You shouldn't really be farming this fight anyway. So the purpose of this is just to get through it and to beat the farming of 10. You have to farm it 10 times on auto. So that's really the point of this. I don't remember which stage they started doing that on. It might have been even 10. I don't remember. I know that the higher levels you have to do 10 times. So there you go. This team, once again, wins in stage 14. And then after that, you have to start reverting to different strategies to beat the spider. This is the final stage where you can pretty much bully your way through it, unless you pull insanely strong heroes and have a lot of time to spend. So that's spider. Let's see. Do we even want to waste our time in here? No. Nah, we don't need to go in there. We don't need to worry about that. All right. Did I waste my keys here? I did. You could use these. They can win here in stage 1 when you first start. They'll at least get you on the way to start getting coins. After that, probably around stage 3, you're going to start seeing them fall off, and you're going to have to start picking more affinity-based heroes and heroes that have speed down and things like that to beat these bosses. But yeah, if you only are doing stage 1 every day just to get the coins, then yeah, you can easily use this team to farm this. Same thing with actually, let me see real quick. Same thing with Sand Devil, actually. Let me see if they even need speed to beat this. And if you do, fun story, you can literally just farm. Where is he? Where'd he go? Oh, he's in my bank. He's in my vault. You can farm Muckstalker in stage, I think it's 10, yeah, stage 10, you can farm Muckstalker, and you can use him as a free champion to beat this content. I think in the beginning, the first level of this, just so you can actually beat the quest, that's really all you care about in the beginning because you're not going to be doing this for a while. But if you get an advanced quest, if you're at that point where you're doing advanced quests, you're going to want to be able to beat this guy. And this is a team that can just wreck him. Because you don't need to worry about him falling asleep. That's the good news. All you got to do is kill him. So technically speaking, the first stage, you could just use any team you want, as long as they're built. But yeah, you could farm Muckstalker for sleep, and then there you go. Your problem is solved. But the point of this is that you could just farm this, whatever it is, for eight or 10 times, whatever it is, to get one ascension and finish the quest and get the energy. That's it. And that way you don't have to go through trying to waste a ton of energy completing an advanced quest to get energy. And then waste a ton of energy in the process. There you go. They can beat Sand Devil. All right. So there you go. They have done everything. They do all the keeps. So there you go. They do, yeah, they do Minotaur, they do Ice Golem, they do everything. Fire Knight, like I said, you just need the extra hero for doing 3 hits to get the shield down. But other than that, they'll do that too. They beat all of these dungeons on 15, so all the potion keeps they can beat. I don't think there's any team that's better. I really don't. If you're just starting, it's an easy to get team. It's a team that you can max their skills, which is honestly the most important thing. Which is why I tell everyone when they do the starting is that you should buy their masteries. Spend the 800 gems, go in here and buy it and get the masteries. It's the best thing you could possibly do for your account. So what have we learned today? I'll tell you what we've learned today. We've learned that free heroes are good heroes. That's what we've learned. We've learned that these 5 heroes are the key to you not only understanding raid, but figuring out how to beat content and actually beating it. This is a very good kind of microcosm of these 5 heroes of how a team should operate and how a team should synergize. This is why it's a good team for a starting group of people. One, you're not going to be wasting your legendary books and your epic books on heroes that you don't even know what the hell they do. You're just like, oh, I got an epic, I'm going to waste a book on. I'm like, no, don't do that. Save all your epic books, save your legendary books, build these 5 heroes first. Build them until they can do what I just did. All right, get them ready to fight for you, and then you'll understand the game. You'll get how they synergize. You'll understand what the skills do. You'll understand what speed up does. You'll understand what turn meter reduction is. You'll understand what HP reduction is. You'll understand what lifesteal does. You'll understand, like, all of these things are kind of put together in this small little microcosm team that are really going to help you skyrocket your game and be able to beat content and not get all bummed out that you're having trouble progressing in the game. This is your base start. And then all 5 of these heroes are going to split apart as you build more heroes, and you're going to start putting them on teams where they're really going to start to shine. All right? So, with that being said, pick Kael as your starting hero. Get Spirit Host ready to rumble for your attack up. Get Warmaiden in there. Have her drop defense. Get Valerie in that shield set. Have her heal you. Have her shield you. And then, maybe just then, you can farm Diabolist and she'll speed your whole team up. And everyone will be happy. So once again, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're building your starter 5 just like we have right here, and I hope that it's getting you through Raid Shadow Legends, free to play, probably easier than cheese. I don't know if that's a saying. You guys, take care.